Hello and welcome. A quick announcement for those of you who follow along with me daily. I will be off for a couple days. I'm going to be spending some time with the family. Then I have a work training. So I will be returning, if you're following these live, next Thursday. So hope to see you there. Okay, well, we will be concluding this very interesting book of Ecclesiastes with chapter 12 today. Remember God in your youth. And by the way, that picture earlier, that was me in my youth, just letting you know. Verse 1. Remember also your Creator in the days of your youth, before the evil days come and the years draw near when you will say, I have no delight in them. Before the sun and the light, the moon and the stars are darkened, and clouds return after the rain. In the day that the watchmen of the house tremble and mighty men stoop, the grinding ones stand idle because they are few, and those who look through windows grow dim. And the doors on the street are shut as the sound of the grinding mill is low. And one will arise at the sound of the bird, and all the daughters of song will sing softly. Furthermore, men are afraid of a high place and of terrors on the road. The almond tree blossoms, the grasshopper drags himself along, and the caperberry is ineffective. For man goes to his eternal home while mourners go about in the street. All right, so most commentators agree that verses 1 through 5 that we just read is a poetic description of the effects of advancing age. And let me break it down for you. The watchmen of the house tremble statement means that the arms and hands that keep the body now begin to tremble. Mighty men stoop, that means that the legs and knees begin to sag. Grinding ones stand idle, that teeth are lost and chewing is more difficult. The windows grow dim refers to the eyes being dimmed. The sound of grinding is low, referring to the ears become weaker and weaker. One will arise at the sound of a bird, meaning that sleep becomes more difficult and one is easily awakened. The daughters of song will sing softly, meaning singing and music are less appreciated. Men are afraid of a high place and of terrors on the road, meaning one becomes more fearful in life. The almond tree blossoms, the hair becomes white. The grasshopper drags himself along, the once active become weak. And the caperberry being ineffective, meaning the passions and desires of life weaken and wane. Remember him before the silver cord is broken and the golden bowl is crushed. The pitcher by the well is shattered and the wheel at the cistern is crushed. Then the dust will return to the earth as it was, and the spirit will return to God who gave it. Vanity of vanities, says the preacher, all is vanity. There are numerous speculations as to what these verses 6 through 8 here are referring to, but the conclusion is that death is tragic and irreversible. But at least he recognizes that the soul returns to be with the Lord. Verse 9. In addition to being a wise man, the preacher also taught the people knowledge, and he pondered, searched out, and arranged many proverbs. The preacher sought to find delightful words and to write words of truth correctly. All right, so a little third-person verbiage here, but we already know that Solomon is quite the interesting fellow. The words of wise men are like goads, and masters of these collections are like well-driven nails. They are given by one shepherd. So goads and nails were shepherd's tools that one used to motivate reluctant animals, and the other to keep them from wandering into danger. The imagery used here is to portray wisdom. Verse 12. But beyond this, my son, be warned. The writing of many books is endless, and excessive devotion to books is wearying to the body. Books written on any other subject than God's revealed wisdom will only increase the uselessness of man's thinking. Verse 13. The conclusion, when all has been heard, is, here it is, fear God and keep his commandments, because this applies to every person. For God will bring every act to judgment, everything which is hidden, whether it is good or evil. And that is it. Life does have purpose, and God oversees and will judge all that occurs under the sun. So 12 chapters of ranting before he figures it out. Well, at least he did. All right, our hymn to reflect upon in prayer today is called Christ the Lord is Risen Today. written by Charles Wesley and music by Lyra Davidica. The earliest forms of the hymn can be traced back to a Latin text from the 14th century. In 1708, the 4 Latin stanzas were translated into English. In 1739, a modified version was published by John and Charles Wesley in Hymns and Sacred Poems under the title Hymn for Easter Day. It is this version, later shortened and supplemented with the Alleluia refrain, that has become the hymn that remains so popular today. Because it's a longer hymn, we'll close out with it. Hope that everybody has a great rest of the week, and I look forward to seeing everybody later next week. God bless you. Christ the Lord is risen today, sons of men and angels say. Raise your joys and triumphs high. Sing ye heavens, and earth reply. Love's redeeming work is done. Fought the fight, the battle won. Lo, our son's eclipse is over. Lo, he sets in blood no more. Vain the stone, the watch, the seal. Christ has burst the gates of hell. Death in vain forbids his rise. Christ has opened paradise. Lives again our glorious King. Where, O death, is now thy sting? Once he died our souls to save. Where the victory, O grave? Soar we now where Christ has led, following our exalted head. Made like him we rise. Ours the cross, the grave, the skies. What thou once we perished all, partners of our parents' fall. Second life we all receive, in our heavenly Adam live. Risen with him, we upward move. Still we seek the things above. Still pursue and kiss the Son, seated on his Father's throne. Scarce on earth a thought bestow. Dead to all we leave below. Heaven our aim and loved abode. Hid our life with Christ in God. Hid till Christ our life appear. Glorious in his members here. Joined to him we then shall shine, all immortal, all divine. Hail the Lord of earth and heaven. Praise to thee by both be given. Thee we greet triumphant now. Hail the resurrection thou. King of glory, soul of bliss, everlasting life is this. Thee to know, thy power to prove, thus to sing and thus to love.